Now, as tension spirals in the Middle East, the entire world is watching developments with bated breath. Over a year, the conflict between Israel and Iran and its proxies is only tagging with every passing day. Your channel Times Now brings you the latest report on the war situation from Israel's Haifa, the third largest city in the country and a constant target of the Hezbollah.
Right now, I'm in Haifa city. This is considered to be the third largest city in Israel. After Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, this is considered to be the third largest city, which is on the slopes of Mount Carmel. And here you can see this Israeli flag. This reminds you of the spirit of Jews. And on this Israeli flag, you will find this yellow ribbon tied. This is reminding them of all those 100 people who are still held hostage by those Hamas terrorists. It was last year on October 7 when Hamas terrorists, they infiltrated into this side of the border. They carried out one of the most brutal and barbaric attack in that they did not even spare women and children. Many of the people were burnt alive and they could not be recognized. For days together, we saw their family members. They had been standing outside the hospital trying to recognize body of their near and dear ones. And after that, we saw that how the retaliatory attack was carried out by Israel. They tried to dismantle infrastructure of Hamas. And now a similar thing is being done in area which is being controlled by Hezbollah. That is in Lebanon. In the southern suburbs of Lebanon, already we have seen that the bombardment is continuing and many of the top leaders of Hezbollah, they have been eliminated, which includes Hassan Nasrallah, who was hiding inside underground command center. And finally, that was also destroyed, dismantled, in which Hassan Nasrallah also lost his life. So through these flags and this yellow ribbon, they are reminding that we will neither forgive nor we are going to forget our enemy. We are going to hit you hard where it's going to hurt you most. That is what this yellow ribbon reminds. So in Haifa town, we have seen in recent past, they are continuously trying to fire rockets. Several rockets have been fired. Many of the towns have been hit. But Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, he has already made it clear that if anybody will try to affect the sovereignty and integrity of the country, that person will not be spared, and Iran will also have to face consequences. Because for the first time in the last 1 year, we have seen that Iran has involved in a direct confrontation with Israel. Earlier, he was using its proxies like Hamas in the southern side, that is in Gaza. Then on Hezbollah in the northern side, that's in Lebanon, and Houthis from the Yemen side, 2,000 kilometers away. And we have also seen many other countries are also being used as bases like Syria, Damascus, especially where these Houthis and other terrorists are hiding. So Benjamin Netanyahu has made it clear, no place is far off to them. They are going to hit them hard where it's going to hurt them most, because at the end of the day, it is their responsibility to ensure safety, security of the country. And
now, Haifa has been on the receiving end, forcing the residents to evacuate and shift to the safer places nearby. Times Now brings you the mood on the ground.
And look at this flag here at Haifa, which has been facing the brunt of rocket attack for the last several days. Right now here, the streets are empty, deserted. But yes, spirit of the people is high. Many a time whenever they hear that alarm, siren, they try to move towards the bomb shelter so that they can save their lives from the killer projectiles being fired from across by those Hezbollah terrorists. Because already they had suffered heavy losses from the Israeli defense forces that had already made it clear that they are going to, one, destroy their ecosystem. Second, they are going to dismantle their infrastructure. Third, they are going to wipe out Hezbollah the way they had tried to wipe out Hamas. So right now, here in Haifa town, these flags, these yellow ribbon reminds us of the barbaric and the brutal chapter that was scripted by the Hamas terrorists last year when they came out to this side. The question everybody here is asking, even 3-month-old baby, 8-month-old baby, they were held hostage. The question is, what has been the fault of 3-month-old baby? What has been the fault of 8-month-old baby? These toddlers were too young even to understand politics between Israel and Palestine. They were too young to understand politics between Israel and Hezbollah. So why they were abducted, why they were taken hostage? And it's also a question for all those people who often try to spin the narrative. They are trying to project Israel as an oppressor. They have to understand it was they who started the fire, and Israel is only trying to defend its country. If you start the fire, you'll have to pay the price. That is what actually the Israeli defense forces and the Israeli government is saying.
Now, in the latest attack by Hezbollah, a residential complex in Haifa was targeted, from broken windows to cracked ceilings, from shattered glasses to debris from the exploded rockets. The visuals of the situation scream utter destruction. Take a look.
Broken window, shards of glasses splattered all around, cracks on wall, and rooftop caved in. Narrates the story of devastation and destruction caused by projectile fired from across by Hezbollah terrorists. It was late last night at about 12:30 a.m. All of a sudden, one of the rocket exploded here on the rooftop. And you can see it created a big hole. That time, this young man, he was here looking after the maintenance of this residential complex because somebody had to shift next day. He was sleeping inside. When this rocket explosion took place, he started shivering and he immediately ran out. See, these are the splinters of the rocket that exploded here. That is what actually he's trying to say. And he's saying that he was inside. All of a sudden, this rocket exploded. And look at these splinters. This is not the only one. There are many more splinters also here. These are the killer splinters. But he was fortunate enough not to get hit by these splinters. It shook the entire building. And after that, he ran outside. And this already written on his t-shirt, brave and young, emblazoned on this t-shirt, brave and young man survived to tell his side of the story, what really happened. For the last few days we have seen that the Hezbollah had been trying to target residential areas. Let me tell people here, because often Hezbollah claims that they are targeting either Mossad headquarters, they are targeting army locations, they are targeting Israel Defense Forces, but this is not the defense headquarters. Neither it's a Mossad headquarters, neither army or Israeli defense forces have anything to do with it. This is a residential area. That means they are trying to inflict casualty of local residents. So they are trying to inflict casualty of civilian. It was with that intention only the rocket has been fired during the last 1 week. Many rockets have been fired in this area. Look at the condition that has been caused by this killer rocket that came from across. Let me show you. Look at this kitchen condition also. It has developed a deep crack here in the building. So look at this crack. So you can very well understand impact of the rocket fired from across. That's one of the reasons that we have seen that already Israel has intensified its attack on the Beirut. During the last few days, many of their top commanders, including Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah, has been killed. And many other top commanders have also been killed. Look at the condition of this room. No one can say that this was going to be the drawing room for the tenants who were planning to shift out to this place. Look at the window. It's completely damaged. Shards of glass, again, splattered all around. Look at the cracks that has been developed in the wall here. So they are trying to target the structure. They are trying to target. Haifa has been facing the brunt of Hezbollah shelling for the last several days. They are firing rockets. They are firing projectiles. They are firing missiles. They are trying to target residential areas. More than 200 rockets have been fired during the last 48 hours, and most of these rockets have landed in Haifa residential area. Let me show you. Normally, this building is abuzz with activity, but today you will find hardly any kind of an activity here in this area because most of the people either have left for the safer places, either the building is completely locked, except for 2-3 odd locals putting up here in this area. Rest of the people have already left this place because it's very difficult. Hardly a night passes when there is no rocket firing and shelling from across. And let me show you again, show you the story of destruction that has been carried out by the rockets here in this area. And these are the killer splinters. Let me again show you that you can see after creating a hole there in the rooftop. These killer splinters are lying all around, littered all around. Had these killer splinters hit anyone, that person would have lost his life. Thank God, the person who was looking after this flat, he was in the other room. Otherwise, he would not have been alive to tell us this story, because this has been the story. Because conflict never tells you the good story. It only tells you the story of death, destruction, and devastation. And these killer splinters never bring in happiness. These killer splinters only shatter families. This is what actually people have to understand. But unfortunately, they often say that we are trying to hit military installation, but this is not a military installation. This is basically residential area that has been targeted. And often we hear such kind of stories. Mostly they try to target residential areas, civilian areas, so that they can kill common man and they can try to make their presence felt.
As Israel continues its offensive against Hezbollah in Lebanon, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a video message. In the 3.5-minute video, Netanyahu said that most of Hezbollah's top leaders have been eliminated, including Hassan Nasrallah. In a significant update, he also said Hashem Safieddine, rumored successor of Nasrallah, too, has been killed.
Just one day after the October 7th massacre a year ago, Hezbollah joined the war against Israel. It launched an unprovoked attack on our cities and on our citizens. It has since fired over 8,000 missiles at Israel, killing civilians without distinctions, Jews, Christians, Muslims, and Druze. Israel has decided to put an end to this. We've decided to do whatever is necessary to return our people safely to their homes. Israel has a right to defend itself. Israel also has a right to win, and Israel will win. We've degraded Hezbollah's capabilities. We took out thousands of terrorists, including Nasrallah himself, and Nasrallah's replacement, and the replacement of his replacement. Today, Hezbollah is weaker than it's been for many, many years.
With that, we're slipping into a very short break, but news and updates will continue. Stay on with us.